Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ. You are here on the home of the Slightly Above Average Ship Review. I think we're on Warrior's Path. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I know the name of the map is Warrior's Path, and we are in the Tier 7 American Premium Destroyer, the Summers Collector's Edition. Also, which means that I've been playing this game for a while. 5 years, including the beta. If you are a 5 years player, go ahead and pat yourself on the back. Great job at being financially supportive of wargaming for 5 years. 5 very frustrating years at points. Um, and this is another match that contains a little bit of frustration. I'm not going to say anything other than keep an eye on the other blue team destroyer and tell me if you think he does a good job. All right, so we're moving out. Originally, I was going to be like, hey, I'm going to play this game as if I was a brainless destroyer player from today. And so basically, I would just cut back through those islands there and run away, and then go back to the spawn, fuck around, and launch a bunch of torpedoes at nothing, and then spam I need intelligence data while hiding in my own smoke screen. That didn't happen. What happens on this side of the map is that the red team is going to make a concerted push over here, and myself and my teammates are going to have to fight them off. Now, I do want to note the two enemy destroyers have sonar, and there's a Missouri in this match, which has, I think it's 9.2 or 9.5 kilometer radar. So I am very cognizant of this. So when I see the Z39 spot me, what do? I turn around and I run away because I won't win a gunfight. Not to mention the Summer CE is not a gunboat. It is a torpedo boat. Don't let anybody fool you into thinking it's a gunboat. It's not a gunboat. I've done several videos proving this with geometric logic. So I ran away. And was it bad of me to run away? No, because it's in a smoke screen, and if he sonar'd me, he would kill me, and then I would no longer be able to assist my team. But because I ran away, he came out of his smoke screen, and you'll see there on the right side of the map, this opens him up to attack from the other ships over here. I think it's 2 battleships, and they're going to tune this guy up here, and before I can even get around the island, he's going to be dead. And so, great for me, because the destroyer over here that had radar, or sonar, pardon me, is deceased. All right, there is another destroyer somewhere else on the other side of the map. I don't know where. He does not appear on the mini-map that I can see, and I'm not sure the same robust attention to spotting is going on the other side of the map. This will come back to haunt our team, and this is why I decided to do a video talking about this, because you need all of the intelligence data from both sides of the map to make a decision in this game. We're going to talk about that decision when we make it, and how we were fooled into thinking this is going to work out, and it didn't work out. All right, Connecticut is out there. He is getting chewed up by those battleships. I thought he might have put his planes up near me. That didn't happen. I am going to get some torpedoes out, and right as I was about to decide to go in front of the island, I see the Connecticut radically change its heading, and I know he's going to turn and come towards me. So once I see I can clear the island here, the baby island, I am going to launch some torpedoes just to harass the Connecticut a little bit. Salvo number 1, salvo number 2. I will keep the third salvo in reserve. Meanwhile, the Connecticut doesn't have a whole lot of health left because he left his broadside open to at least one Tier 7 battleship. So he's going to be dead shortly, and my torpedoes are not going to do anything. All right, so there is one, maybe two. Look at the RDF indicator. It's saying, hey, off your port bow, there's a ship. And that doesn't look to me like it is indicating the ship directly in front of me, the red ship directly in front of me. So I think the other destroyer might be over here. The ship directly ahead of us is in Iowa. As you can see, that heading is not pointed towards the Iowa. So I don't know what is going on here, because in a minute the heading goes to the Iowa. And so I'm thinking there's another ship out here behind this island or something like that. And so I am going wide to try to catch that other ship to protect my teammates. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, you see the blue team on the other side of the map really hasn't advanced out of the spawn. They did a little bit, then they went back into the spawn, and so the red team is pushing very hard on that side of the map. So we've got one of these scenarios where it's like a whirlpool effect, where we're going up the left side of the map, the red team's going down the right side of the map, and so we'll both end up in each other's cap circle at essentially the same time. Looking at the scoreboard, we hold advantage 3 kills to 2 kills. We have a slight points lead because of that, and I'm just going to get some torpedoes of opportunity out on this Iowa. RDF indicator has pretty much stayed on the Iowa, so I'll just spoil it. I don't know what my RDF indicator was pointing at before. Is it possible one of the other ships, possibly that other destroyer that's a Friesland, which doesn't have great concealment, is it possible the Friesland snuck in front of the Iowa and got out of Dodge? Yes, of course it's possible. Do I think that happened? I do not. I do not think that's what happened. I think the RDF indicator was just messed up. All right, enemy team draws even on kills. I'm going to farm a little bit of damage here from the Iowa, who decided he didn't want to die by torpedo. That being said, he's going to die here very shortly. And because we don't have a whole lot of intelligence data left from our teammates, who have either died or the other destroyer went up the middle, because there's no intelligence data left, because that destroyer isn't providing any information to us, everybody on this side of the map says, hey, let's go in the cap. Let's go in the cap. And this turned out to be a mistake. Perhaps I just had some crappy matches, some stuff went on at my work today that wasn't ideal, not necessarily for me, but so I was not in a great mindset playing this game or the matches before it. In fact, I played a couple battleship matches before this, and I was just charging across the map and dying. And I said to myself, dude, you are not with it today. Switch ship types, and so you can play a little bit more cautiously. Or you could charge across the map and not die instantly. So that's why I'm in this match. So there is no spotting being provided by the other destroyer. You know, someone is saying, hey, we got to defend our cap. That's true. But if we all stay in this cap and don't get spotted, then in theory, we'll cap the base, we'll win the game. All right, there is an enemy ship. It is a Georgia. It looks like it's a 2-salvo ship, or maybe one good flush salvo. Nobody in the cap should shoot at it. And then there is the Missouri that I talked about. The Missouri radars. And this other destroyer gets caught and resets most of the cap. And he got greedy going out for torpedoes. And I thought it was a bad idea when I saw him do it. And so I am trying to get behind the island. Why would you shoot in that scenario? You're not going to kill the other ship. All you're doing is making yourself more visible. And here's the other thing. You're in the radar range of the Missouri. In order not to be spotted, you have to get out of the radar range of the Missouri. And guess what you are not doing when you move closer to the ship the radar is coming from? You're not getting out of radar range. I knew this was going to happen right here. I torped into the gap. I'm telling this guy to get back. You know he is not going to get back. He's going to block most of the torpedoes because he needs to get torpedoes off in his own mind. So he gets torpedoes off. And quite frankly, I don't think his torpedoes hit anything. They don't hit anything. I'm looking at the Missouri. It took a teeny tiny bit of damage there, and that's it. So whether or not he hits someone, who knows? All right, the Friesland shows up, and I'm like, hey, I am not going to attract the Friesland's attention if I don't have to. Not to mention, I am not a gunboat. I am a torpedo boat. So I said, you know what, Mr. Attention, he can do that. I will send some torpedoes out. And believe it or not, some ship manages to get a double strike out of that. I think it was the battleship in there next to Mr. Destroyer. All right, so Missouri's in there. I'm just like, you know what? We have lost the ability to cap this cap circle. I need to leave the cap. And I need to leave the cap to go reset our cap. Or at very least, spot for our team so one of the other ships can reset the cap. Resetting the match. We have 3 ships remaining. They have 2 ships remaining. I think all of the ships that were involved in that scenario I was talking about are dead. The destroyer's dead. The ship that got a double strike, I think that ship is dead. The Missouri's dead. All the ships are dead except for these 2 ships in the cap. So I'm going to send some torpedoes. I send one set towards the Tirpitz. I'm going to hold my second set because I just don't think that torping at a cruiser who's pretty aware of where everybody is at is a good idea. I just don't think that. I'm encouraging my teammates to shoot at the cruiser because I can kill the battleship. Prioritize your targets, folks. But here, I had to leave the cap. And it is your job as a destroyer player to know when staying in the cap is not valid anymore. Okay? You have to know when you are not going to win by staying in the cap. Here to distract the Tirpitz from my torpedoes. I do come hot for a second. I go back into my smoke screen. He doesn't hit me at all. I am going to farm a little bit of damage here. And this video isn't about my damage. There's nothing spectacular going on here. We do get the kill of the Tirpitz, which I just told you guys. I know I can kill the Tirpitz. I need my teammates to shoot the cruiser because that is the most dangerous ship to me as a destroyer player. Here comes some torpedoes. No chance, sir. I will just go right around those because I'm a destroyer. And now my only job here is to keep the cruiser spotted. He's almost dead. Now here in a minute, I'm going to start shooting at him. I'm going to shoot at him, hoping to distract him. I am basically at full health. I can afford to do this. If I was half health or maybe a little bit lower, would I do this? Probably not. Because I could get killed. Now, is a cruiser going to beat 2 other battleships? No. Hopefully not. I'm sure it's happened at some point. Anyway, I'm just going to shoot to distract him here. He did kill one of the battleships. There's only one left. I have no idea of their health. So here I'm going to shoot at the ship to distract him a little bit. And whether that worked or not, I don't know. But the cruiser is dead. So the goal of this video is make sure to evaluate what you're seeing on the minimap. There wasn't an issue, I don't think, with going into the cap in the first place. The issue is knowing when the cap is no longer viable and knowing when to leave the cap. So if you learned anything from this video, that's what I want you to learn. That A, it's okay to abandon the cap and why you should abandon the cap. And I think if we had tried to stay in the cap, we may not have won that match. Just one man's opinion, but that cruiser could have stayed hidden and capped out. And I don't think we would have won that match. Anyway, victory screen, blah, blah, blah. You know, like I said, it wasn't necessarily about the damage here in the Summers. It was more about the scenario that happened in that match. And quite frankly, yeah, I think we were let down by the spotting of the other destroyer in this match. I'm not going to go out and say he had a terrible, terrible game. I just think he didn't do everything he could have done to help the team win. Anyway, I hope y'all have a great weekend. That is the end of the video.